steer your way through the quagmire and differentiate between a discount, a rebate, a super rebate or an invisible rebate, and a commission that is then rebated. We have the same words and the same terms for half a dozen forms of commission, some of which are legitimate, the other ones, which are suggestive of sinister practice. I mean, the wording in the report is quite devastating in some regards. So how do you explain, how would you differentiate as an agency, and what would you be looking for as a client in terms of differentiating between a discount, a commission and a rebate? Chris, you want to?
Yeah, sure. Let me jump in there. I think first of all, let's split those three out. I think first of all, from a discount perspective, the discount is the volume discount that you negotiate on behalf of your client.
And that's based on the volume of spend of the client or the volume of spend of the agency as the buying desk?
The volume of spend of the client. So remember, when we as agencies negotiate discount for our clients, we negotiate on a client by client basis. So if we have a client X who spends 100 million rand and a client Y who spends 5 million rand, we don't pull the two together and negotiate on 105, because it would be a disproportionate benefit to the client who's getting 5 and a disproportionate detriment to the client who's spending 100. So
but I thought one of the big value propositions of a big agency like yours is to say, listen, we've got economies of scale, and because of that, we'll be able to get better rates for you. And not discriminating between clients.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, as a media agency, we don't negotiate as a collective with all of our client spend pulled together, ever. Because I think, remember, again, if you go look at the benefit that we then do, then we start doing these group type deals where we say, listen, as a collective, this is how much money we're going to spend with you, Mr. Media Owner, and then we're going to get, that's where rebates start coming in. So what we then do from a client by client perspective is negotiate, take the client's pot of money, we go and negotiate with that pot of money with a media owner to say, listen, we're going to spend X amount of money with you, what discount can you get? So discount would be the first form of, and it's not a rebate, but I mean it's a discount that they would receive on spend. Included in every cent of media spend is then also 16.5% agency commission. The 16.5% agency commission, depending on what your deal is with your client, whether you retain a portion of the commission or whether that commission gets rebated back to your client, is then a further rebate that gets given back to the client. So if you spend 100 rand and you get a 20% discount, that's 80 rand, then you take agency commission, which is 16.5% of that. I don't have a calculator on me at the moment, but let's say for the sake of
our man without a calculator,
64 rand 13 cents off the top of my head, right? So might be out by a cent here or there, right? So what the client ends up paying is the 64 rand in my example over here. I think the third element, Gordon, that you spoke about is the media rebate. Yeah. Okay, so media rebates in South Africa for the most part is frowned upon and not really a common practice.
That's an interesting phrase, frowned upon as opposed to not done.
Correct.
I mean, I frown upon eating Smarties because they make me fat, but I mean, I eat them.
Yeah.
So,
Correct. Going back to my first point, media rebates per se are not illegal, right? However, that it goes back, when I say frowned upon, is because invariably to date, what we found is that if there are media rebates, right, it's been, and that goes through the K2 report, that the agencies retain them. Yep. Okay, so that is then based on me as an agency spending a certain volume of money with the media owner, right, as a collective. Now, Tebe, that goes to your point earlier on. Me going to a media owner and saying, listen, as a collective, we're going to spend X with you. We would like 2% of X back on the back end, right? That never gets shared with client. Now, I'm using Yvonne's spend to leverage 2% of revenue for my business. And that is then, first of all, if it's not dealt with in a transparent manner, in other words, where that rebate gets shared back to the client, where the agency retains that, in my opinion, that's stealing.
I was going to say, you go for it. What's your view?
Yvonne, won't you get a better deal if we just go directly to the media owners?
Well, we could, but the way that the industry is currently structured...
I'm taking business away from you. I was just checking with you.
Not at all. No, so maybe can I jump in there? Because I'd love to answer that question as well.
Let's let Yvonne answer, then I'll answer after. I just want you to know, because when you're adding up the numbers, and I'm sitting and saying to myself, I need to be so smart to get to those numbers to get to 64. I don't know how you got to 64, but I'm wondering if she can't just get to 50 herself directly.
But we could approach the media owners directly as an advertiser, but at the end of the day, we don't have a full understanding of that whole media supply chain. The way that the payment terms that they have with the media owners, the finance financing structures and the financing models, is that something that as a business we want to start focusing on and taking away focus from our core business? Then this is why we engage with agency partners to act on our behalf in that fiduciary manner. That means that it's being done in a legal and in an ethical way.
And transparent,
and
like
transparent
you say,
way.
and
to be able to
collaborative,
manage
like you
that,
say.
yeah.
Exactly. And I think maybe if I can add on to that, I think, remember the reason clients come to media agencies is not for volume and scale. I think that's a very important point to stress. The reason agencies come to us is because of knowledge and insight. So the fact that we have in Media Shop's case, we've got 150 people who work within the business who are highly skilled media strategists, planners and buyers who understand media, who understand consumers. So clients don't pay us to go buy volumes. That's a part of what we do, a smallish part of what we do. The biggest part why clients pay us is for our knowledge and insight that we bring to the business.
Just on that point of volume, I mean, I still haven't heard Yvonne's point of view. So you wake up one morning, you're getting your 16.5% back, you're getting your 10% discount back, so you're happy, it's all looking good on the plan, and then you discover that the agency or your agency partner has been doing what is suggested in the KT report, pocketing an additional 8% on a rebate or a 1 or a 3. It's not the quantum that's at issue here, it's the principle. What would your reaction be? Would you frown upon it?
Or would you jail
We
them?
actually,
Yes.
it's a very good point, because we actually have had that experience, and what it does is it puts distrust in the relationship with the agency partners, and it's a very serious issue, because what we're entrusting you is that we're handing over our investment to get the best return on that investment. And when we discover, I mean, the discounts are upfront. We understand the discounts, the agency rebates in terms of the discounts with the media owners, we understand. But this last media rebate that we don't have visibility of and that's never discussed really casts a shadow of doubt on the whole relationship. And that's not what you want to be underlying the relationship between an agency and a client. And so this is really...
And I think the point that you're making, and again, let's use the 2% example as just as an example. I think, remember, the media owners build that into their pricing, right? So it's not the media owners saying, oh, well, generously, I'll give you 2. So in the end, that is then 2% that is your money, right? That is stolen from you, which is why I think transparency, openness and honesty has to be at the forefront of any relationship. The moment, if an agency takes rebates from a media owner, they're stealing from their clients.
Do you think, by the way, when this transparency and open and collaborative relationship is nurtured, that's going to affect your bottom line? You're no longer going to be making as much money you're going to make. So your shareholders are quite looking forward to this day, aren't they?
If you are a thieving agency, yes, it will impact your bottom line. In the case of the Media Shop, it will not impact our bottom line at all, because we don't take media rebates, right, as an agency. I think, therefore, if you go look at it from a bottom line perspective, Yvonne, if she were my client, she would pay me a fee or commission or whatever the remuneration agreement would be, and that's your remuneration agreement. That's what you have to fight for. That's what you have to make sure that you get paid a salary. Now, if you feel that money is not enough, it's not. You can't go say, oh, well, they're not paying me enough money, I'm going to go steal from my client on the back end. That's thieving again. So whether media rebates exist or don't exist, get given or don't get given, doesn't impact my bottom line in any way, shape or form.